Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Live Boldly with Sarah. I have Joe on again, and ooh, and
Everybody's
we,
thrilled.
what's that?
Said everybody's thrilled.
Everybody is thrilled. We were talking about what is it, the message that we want to put out to everybody today. And one of the questions that I've been receiving a lot of, even from my cousin today, is, are you still dating Joe? What's going on? And so when we were talking about this, I said, you know what? I think what we need to touch on that we haven't talked about is it possible to survive and thrive in a long term relationship? I don't think we've ever discussed this. And how do we make it work?
Hmm.
Because I think so often people have this thought process that they have to meet somebody from where they're at. And in reality, I would never have found what I have here by just looking around the area that I'm living in. And I knew that. I knew that because I had been dating around the area. And there is definitely not a Joe around here. So, so I want to talk about how do we make this work, Joe? Joe, how do we make this work?
A lot of hard work, just like that. You said it, work. We work. I think a lot of it has its benefits too, because it gives us a little space um, to reflect, but it still takes the same amount of work. And I think that's what people take each other for granted when they're next to each other a lot. It just takes work,
Well, does
right?
this mean we're going to keep doing this? Because I don't want to keep doing this.
The long distance.
Yeah, like this sucks.
No, our goal is to get together, but honestly, I think people see our adventures and see our posts and they think, "Oh man, I wish I could do that. Oh, you guys are the best." And I think the belief is that we don't have any hardship, we just somehow make it so easy. When in reality, behind the scenes, we put a lot of time and effort into it,
We
and we
do.
do have our moments for sure, right?
We do. And I think even when I'm sitting here saying this sucks, it's a Monday night. I'm delayed in doing this because multiple reasons. And I, to be honest, didn't want to do this because this is going to be our last episode for a little bit. And for those of you that are listening, we'll explain that at the end. Um, and one of the things that I sat with was like, this sucks not having us together on a Monday night when last week at this time we were climbing out of the Grand Canyon, enjoying ourselves and driving home.
Right.
And we had so much fun. We did our last podcast episode from the car. Remember that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like having all of those fun times, it makes these times when we're not together feel like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. Even though correct, it creates a lot of space for us to do our work and to focus on the things that we also need to get done, like spending time with our kids and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the other challenge too. And everybody has that in, without long distance is the kids, right? I mean, we got delayed getting to the canyon to be sure that I was there for my daughter's pep band on Thursday. You were there. We went to your son's basketball game Friday night, and we still created the space and time to have this amazing adventure. It was a lot, and it was a lot of work, but
Mhm.
we made sure it would have been easy for us to be like, I'm tired. Should we just go back and watch TV and go to bed? And I think that's the difference that we persevere through that tired. And like anything, when you're tired, that's where you find your character, your mental strength, your heart of getting to that next level. And I think that's what we've done really well.
Do you think that this would have worked if we would have lived close to each other? First of all, do you think we would have met each other if we would have lived close to each other? And then secondly, do you think that this would have worked if we would have actually been living near each other? If we didn't have this struggle of time apart and to be able to have those hard times and then to reflect on them and then to come back together again, do you think that that would have made a difference?
It's hard to say. I feel pretty good about who we are and overcoming anything, but I think it could have been more challenging. I don't know. It's really
I don't
weird.
know either. I was just sitting with that one. I was like, do you think that part of the reason this actually worked out is because we have that time in between to sit with like, I really miss you. and I miss that time together. And I don't
Yeah, I
want to
think, yeah.
live without this because
And I
it's
say, yeah, I say being able to sit back and reflect and know what it is like, wow, that was amazing. And like, I do want more and it's tough, but I don't want to discourage people that are close to each other either, because you can still reflect and have space, even when you're living in close proximity. It doesn't mean you have to spend all your time together, right? And
right.
I think that's an important lesson that you've taught in a lot of your work is, putting yourself first, getting yourself in a good space, in mental space. But it's also, even when you're not in a good space, to have that person there to lean on. And you can do that whether they're next door in the same house or far away. And you can still get space like, hey, I just need to get away um, to put myself in a good space. So I
I
think
think,
it,
go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just saying, I just think it's like people need to realize don't model this like I have to find somebody that's far away. It's never going to work because you're in close proximity.
Right.
You can use those same tools and work and beliefs that we do to make it work anywhere.
Well, okay, so like this is really making me reflect for a second. Maybe part of the reason also, perhaps, that this works really well for us is because I was missing a part of home that I never wanted to, quite frankly, leave. I mean, I left my house, I left my home. I didn't want to stay living where I was, though I did love living in the Midwest. And you bring a part of that to my life that I have been missing. I always tell people I never took the Midwest out of me. That was a part of who I am, then that will be a part of who I always am, regardless of where I'm living, regardless if I'm overseas or if I'm in the West Coast or the mountains or wherever. And having you in my life has brought a little bit of that home back to me that I was craving. So maybe that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, me too, because I think you can't ignore the fact that even as, before high school, when we were young, maybe we didn't interact, but we were in the same proximity. We knew each other's families, we knew each other's friends, we had same friends. We went to a midwinter dance together, but we never had a serious relationship, right?
Mhm.
And I think just for us, I think we can say it just made things really comfortable to come back to have, experiences in previous relationships, but to come back to home,
Right.
have somebody that's rooted from the same place, but you both have grown so much, and just to admire that and soak it all up and appreciate each other, and find that you both have really seen a lot of same interest.
Yeah.
It just clicks.
You said something on the way back so last weekend we climbed rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon, for those that didn't know. It was crazy, super exciting. I think I'm still like a little bit tired from it. We were climbing down though from the North Rim, and you made a comment, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's something to the effect of like, you, because of the experiences that I brought into your life, the adventure piece, because I've had a lot of adventures and we've started adventuring a ton because I'm like, hey, I got this going on. You want to go? And you said something to the effect of me bringing that into your life has helped you do you remember that?
Keep going. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the second part of it. It was something to the effect of like, it's helped
Oh,
you
oh,
to
oh,
become
a
to step
calmer
out of your
person.
comfort zone and to
Yeah.
grow and to do other things that were hard that you had to do and you wouldn't have done had you not have experienced those hard adventures that we've actually done together. Am I right?
Yeah, it was all part of we were talking about like at work and with friends and family, pushing our like we talked about being tired, but still when you get tired, that's when you find out you build mental strength and character. That when we do that, which we both love to do, but it also just makes us grow personally in the rest of our life. When adversity hits us, we're able to remain more calm and
Yeah.
pause and work through it, and it kind of gives you an advantage versus somebody that's never experienced the hardship, or when it'd be so easy for us to be like, no, that's not climb up the north side. There's lots of snow and that's, 15 more miles and one way, and let's just camp down here and get out of here and go get pizza and beer. That's the
Which
easy.
did sound good too.
But pushing yourself to those limits, it really does put you at an advantage to dealing with adversity in the rest of your life.
Yeah, it
But we
does.
get to experience with all this beauty around us, right?
Yeah. I'm so glad that we did that.
Yeah.
Even though we were really, really tired. We were like, no, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three, because we always bring everybody three tips. So here's the three tips. The first one, do you want to start the first one? It was creating space and time. You want to talk about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Creating space and time for your relationship. Again, it's easy. I think that's why we excel. We do the hard stuff. So it's easy to have a long day at work and just go to bed and eat some Doritos and not check in with each other, or to have a really, or saltwater taffy, just saying.
That's what I did last night.
Or just have a crappy day and you take it out on your partner, or it's like, oh, the airline ticket is kind of expensive. I really should be there for this for work. It's like we make a point to create that space
We
because
do.
it should be, if you're in a relationship, that should be the most important priority, right? And I think so many people put everything else in front and take the relationship for granted. So creating the space when you're tired, you don't feel like it, it might be challenging. We make sure that we get together and do things together. Whether it's FaceTime, checking in, a morning text, good morning, we are creating that space.
Which you do. So Joe every single morning sends me a text message from because he's 2 hours ahead of me. And you send me a text message every single morning. And sometimes there's a picture with it. And it's so sweet. So when I wake up in the morning, that's the very first thing I read. So it starts my day off on a I know all y'all right now are like, what? Yes, that's what he does. And it's the best because it starts my morning off as on the right note because I don't know, because my house is a little bit crazy and I appreciate that. So it's very sweet. And then the other thing that we do is every single night before we actually go to bed, because again, you're 2 hours ahead of me.
Mhm.
So we FaceTime and I've had to make a little bit more of a cognizant choice and making sure that I'm not eating every single time that I'm on the phone with you, because then it started to be like Sarah's dinner time and he's getting ready to go to sleep, which was getting to be a little old. So I think that like, and then also just checking in during the day. We do a lot of that too.
Mhm. Yeah. And even if it's just like, hey, how's your day going? Miss you, love you. All those little things seem trivial, but they're huge, especially when you're long distance,
Yeah.
which kind of leads into, should we lean into the second one?
Yeah,
Um,
let's lean into the second one. The second one is all about consistency.
yeah. So we both feel it. So that our mornings are something that I won't send something, I'm in a funk, or she doesn't respond to me for a really long time. And you can feel it instantly when that consistency isn't there. And it throws the partner off like, okay, what's going on? For this thing to work, come on, you should be thinking about me. You should sit there. You start with this wheel starts spinning when the consistency is
Mhm.
there. And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. But believe me, when you're consistent, it just reassures the other person. I'm not going to say long distance. I think across the board. I mean,
Across the board.
how many people, one partner gets up and goes to work, one stays home, whatever it is, but they're not in the same schedule. And somebody leaves a note out every morning or
Um,
sends a text and something so small that takes 2 seconds to do. That is a game changer for any relationship.
yeah.
Consistency.
And you're really good with that. Really good with that. Like, I think you're actually far more consistent when it comes to that kind of stuff than I am. I feel like
Well, there's a
you
good
leave
point too.
notes. You leave notes all over. Like he leaves and he leave like a note underneath my pillow, or just it's just the sweetest thing. And I'm trying to get better at all of those little things, and I'm working on it.
And there's a side note that my work is you don't keep score, right? It's never going to be
Right.
50-50 or even. So you can't go in there doing this stuff. And that's been my work is like, okay, how come I did that? You didn't do that. When you start doing that, it takes away from what you do. And you can't force the other person to do it. We're all different. It doesn't mean there's any less love or connection there. It's just we're all different and we all have our strengths and it's never going to be 50-50.
And I think I kind of like looking back at my past relationships, I was always into compartmentalizing. Just that's just how my brain worked. It was like compartmentalize it, put it over there. Compartmentalize it, put it over there. And so for me, and a part of it I think also was because there was so much traveling. So I was a single mom a lot when my ex-husband was traveling. And so I've learned to just like you just shut it out because whatever. And so I think that my work has definitely been this is I don't have to do that here. Like this is like, this is a
Right.
continuation of a relationship, regardless if we're long distance or not. So it's just
Mhm.
different. It's just my way of approaching it is very different,
Mhm.
obviously.
Mhm.
Thank God. Thank God.
There's that laugh.
But here's the
If any of you knew Sarah's mom, that's the Rosie laugh.
that's the rosy laugh. Yeah. Stephanie Wolf just says that to me all the time too. She's like, "That's your mom coming out," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's my."
Yeah, yeah.
So that actually goes into the third one also, which is leave the past in the past. Now, may I start on this one?
I hope so.
Okay. So, leave the past in the past means do not bring your past relationships into your current space. And that's been a big one for us.
Hmm.
That's been a big one for us because we both went through a lot. You have three girls, I have three boys. This is it's just a lot of juggling.
Yeah,
And when you're juggling that much with that many kids, it's just kind of like it happens, right? It's almost like the ball and chain that just gets pulled along sometimes. And you're like, no, I don't want the ball and chain of the past. And it's hard. And it's also important to remember to also remind each other and to be okay with listening to the reminder.
hmm,
You remind me a lot. That was in the past. This is the present. Let's
right.
not bring that into this space. Uh, and it's a pattern that will repeat itself many times. Uh, and it is a pattern that you're going to have to remind yourself many times. Nope, that's not allowed here.
Yeah.
So I think that that's been one of the biggest things for us is leaving the past in the past. Minus, okay, when I'm saying like, however, then there's the stuff that we like to go back to, which is like, we'll be hiking or something. I'll be like, remember that time when we were in high school and
Yeah.
and just like those little things like that are cute and fun. But anything that is going to cause disgrace in your present space, peace out.
Yeah, and that's a good point, but we also know that working with you and stuff like that, it's you're never going to get that out of there. The past is
No,
be there,
no, it's never going to be
but the
completely
more you're
gone.
aware of it and catch yourself so you're not allowing it to take over your present moment.
Right.
It's always going to be there. It's like we can't get rid of that. That's always going to be something for us. It's part of who we are. But as long as you're aware of it, that, create part of number one, creating that space, like, hey, because there's times to talk about it. You need each other to vent to and talk to about it. But then there's
You do.
times like this is our adventure. This is our fun time. Let's not bring that up right now.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the past too. Speaking of which, another outside the 3 points, things that help is you have little pictures. Well,
Oh
on my computer work desk, I have
my God. That's
some
my senior picture.
senior photos with little notes on the
What
bottom.
did you write? What did I write on the back of that?
Well, this one it says, now you gotta force me to put my readers on.
Oh my God, that's my senior
He goes,
picture.
oh, yeah, next year we can hang out in parentheses at the library together. Sounds like fun, huh? Stay cool. Love Sarah Schulting, 1991.
Oh my gosh.
See? She was
The
hitting on me way back then,
library.
hanging out at the library.
We can hang out at the library.
And then just pictures of our trips and stuff. I think it's important. I know at your house you have these
I
pictures
do.
too, but having stuff like this around you, especially in a long distance relationship, I mean, just as reminders, I have my kids' pictures here too. Um, but it's nice when you're working to have that little, almost like they're watching you, right?
Yeah. No, it's true. I have a picture of my mom back here too, actually, who I swear had everything to do with this. So there you go.
Hmm. Do you want me to read some more pictures?
Is there something else there?
Oh, I got three here.
Did I write on the back of all of them though?
Oh, one just said Sarah Schulte 91. Where's this other one? Oh, this is where I don't know if anybody is old enough listening to this to remember Z Cavarici jeans. Those guys.
Oh,
Z Cavarici. This one says, glad we become closer. Love, Sarah Schulte. Yeah, like I think this is my favorite now reading it out though. We can hang out.
hang out at the library. It's hilarious.
Uh, what's an
Oh,
idea to
geez.
know? But we weren't ready for each other then,
No,
I guess.
we had to go through all of this other stuff in order to get to the place of being long distance
Yeah.
for right now. To say that for right now. And I think that's actually one of the big keys too, for those of you that are in those long distance relationships, is also discussing what's the future look like. Because we do that a lot. We're like, okay, which direction are we going to go, or what's this going to look like? And we don't always agree. And I'm sure that you would like this to happen much faster. And then there's me where I'm like, I got to get the kids through this and da 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 da. And well, I would like it to be much faster too. And we do a really good job of making this work.
Yeah, absolutely do.
So,
And I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, we're fortunate and grateful with our workplaces and stuff like that. Like something like mine's usually like jet set with weekends, unless we're doing, those hikes in the summer or something. But it's like, it's a lot to create that space, figure out how to fund it. I mean, because we try to make it every 2 to 3 weeks, not
yeah,
more than that, because that's tough at this stage in a relationship. So, I mean, we're getting together some way, somehow, just about every 2 to 3 weeks, and
yeah,
that's not easy.
it's not easy. We didn't start that way though. I think we started with like 5 weeks, right? 4 to 5. I think we did. It was definitely a lot
Yeah.
longer in between.
Well, it
And
was easier. Yeah, it was easier back then too because we were both like, "Peace out. I did my thing. I don't need anybody else.
yeah, we were working
I'm the
through it a
lone
little
wolf.
bit.
I'm good. I'm gonna just be focused on and happy for myself." And then all of a sudden, you know, you started to stalk. No, no. Then we just randomly reconnected. No, neither of us really expected anything, and it was like, yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
And then once that, just like, oh, this is real. This is nice and amazing and wonderful, and now it's like, well, I can't wait 5 weeks. I'm not going to.
yeah. Well, no, and we're not
Yeah.
because we shouldn't have to. And I will say that also I think it's been 4 months since I've been back home. That's what you figured out. That's
Yeah.
crazy because of water polo and basketball and just all of the things. So I'll be back there, I think like what, in 2 weeks or something like that. I'm finally going to get back and
Mhm.
for a week. And I tell you, it's that, and I appreciate the fact that you've done above and beyond getting on the flights to come out here and spend that time with the kids and myself. And it wasn't even like on our schedules, it was on theirs. So
Mhm.
it takes a lot. That's a
Kids, if you're listening, you owe us. You owe
big
us.
time.
Big
Those
time.
kids owe us big time. They do. They do. I'm
You're gonna have
sorry.
to push us some wheelchairs to our last adventures.
Yeah. Up the mountains. Oh my gosh. Okay, so creating space and time is the first one. The second one was about consistency. And the third one is about making sure that you leave the past in the past. So,
Mhm.
um, anything else you want to add, Joseph?
No, I just I had my little picture thing. Some of the other, how about you? Do you have any other little tips that help you, like when we're apart, little
What
something
helped me?
you have, or
I think what helps me when we're apart most, it's shifted a lot from the beginning to today. When in the beginning, I think that I was definitely a little bit more resistant to it. I was like, if I just shut it out, whatever, put the feelings and the emotions, it's fine, whatever. And that was clearly not serving me well whatsoever. And so I think the thing that's helped me most, well, I mean, I've got pictures all over the place and stuff as well. It's just going back to the times that we've spent together. So in my hardest moments where I'm like, this sucks. Life feels like it's heavy. I feel like I'm dragging a freaking boulder up a mountain, doing this alone. Because I think also that when you're here and you're helping me, or you're talking to the boys, or, you're engaged, and it's just all the things that I've never had in a way that I've never had it. And so it's hard because then when you leave, I'm like, well, this sucks. Now I'm kind of back to the past, right? Of doing
Mhm,
this shit alone again. And I don't like it. And
mhm,
so what helps me though is in those moments when I feel discouraged and I feel like the whole weight of the world is on me, I can go back to the moments when we've been together and I remind myself that there's more of this in the present and future coming. And
mhm.
that it's not just going to go away because everything in my life that's been good or I thought was good, so much of it's gone away, and I'm like, nope, this is actually here. You're going to start to make me cry. And so going back to those times that, we've laid in the tent and had those deep discussions and through the middle of the night, or, we wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, this is the best. Just having somebody there, or just, like rolling over to sleep and just knowing I'm safe when there's been so many times in my life when I haven't felt safe. I go back to that. And sometimes it makes me sad because, admittedly, because I'm like, oh, I want it now. And then I
Mhm.
have to remind myself, no, it's okay. It's there. It's not going to leave. Have gratitude for what you have. And this is preparing you to step into being together, fully together in the near future.
Yeah, you hit it right on
That's
the head.
huge.
Grateful. That's another thing. I think we've started both saying that quite a bit more in our like morning text and stuff. Like,
Oh my God, I'm
so
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 grateful.
grateful for you. And it's like when you sit there and you get down and out and like, I wish we were together. Why do we have to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I'm having a rough day. I wish you were just like right here with me to joke and laugh. It's like, but I'm grateful for the time we do have. I'm grateful that
Mhm.
we did reconnect. I'm grateful that we do get to see each other in 2 weeks. And then laughter, right? I mean, how many times did you say that? Would be like just joking around in the tent and laughing. You say your stomach was starting to hurt from laughing so hard. And it was like, and we just sit there, it's, just the stupidest things and just laugh and laugh.
It's so funny. We laugh at some of the dumbest things. I mean, it's just even how you just look at me sometimes, and I'm like, it just cracks me up. Just, oh my gosh.
And
So
with your kids too. I love it when they just stare at us like we're insane and we both just like hysterically laugh and we can't stop. And they're just like almost like upset with us. Like, what's your problem?
annoyed. Like, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, annoyed,
Everything.
not upset, annoyed. And they're like, oh,
Annoyed. Everything. Everything's
mhm.
wrong with us.
Yeah.
Everything's right with us. That's what's so great. Yeah. So should we tell them about what's happening with this podcast? So everything has shifted in my business, and especially since I've met you, which has been super fun. And talk about creating more space for the future. And one of the things that we were talking about is taking this platform of what we're, the podcast and whatnot. And it's all about ROI. It's all about return on investment. And so we're moving everything over into YouTube. And so you're going to find a lot of this on YouTube before I make a decision or don't make a decision to put back up onto Spotify and all of the platforms. So for right now, go into YouTube, Sarah Schulten Crayons, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then we do have a lot of fun stuff that I'm going to start putting up too, I think. I don't know. I got to make a decision of how much time I feel like putting into it, to be honest with you. It's either going to go one way or the other because to be honest with you, I'm loving pitching the speaking engagements and the workshops and working in culture with and I love it because it's the stuff that we talk about together, which then I'm like it's like going back to teaching days, right? And it's like learning all this stuff and then delivering all this stuff into businesses and working with different cultures and leaders and teams and all of it. It's so much freaking fun.
Mhm.
It's so much freaking fun. So anyhow, so go into the podcast, everyone, subscribe there, and you're going to have to see what happens because a lot can happen. You want to say anything?
You said it all.
I said it all.
Love you.
I usually do. What'd you say?
Said I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Okay, with that, if there's anything that you want Joe and I to jam on, let us know, and we will gladly do that, or myself, or just Joe. Maybe everybody just wants to hear from Joe. They might.
I have a lot of useless knowledge. Test me.
You do. You got a lot of knowledge, not useless knowledge, a lot of knowledge. And then, yeah, we'll, if it's anything you want us to jam on, let us know, and we will do that. Sarah at sarahschultencrayons.com. And just so you know, we do have 2 retreats coming up, one in the Grand Canyon in June. I believe that's the one that we were just talking about, where it's like, what's the Grand Canyon space looking like right now? Hopefully they'll be open up, I believe, by May, so we should be fine. And then we also have the one with Florence Williams and myself in the San Juan Mountains in Colorado, outside of Telluride. Don't miss that. That is already starting to fill up, and it's a great one. So join us there. And I think that's it. That's all we got. Peace out. Joe, I love you.
Love you too.
Nice, man. And we'll see y'all on the flip side. The flip side of YouTube.
Yeah.